The year is 1998, the Game Boy Color has just been released, and people are playing Pokémon Red and Pokémon Blue all over the world. People didn't notice how big of a release Pokémon Red and Blue were. Not just because of how popular they were, but what life-changing decision they would make you choose. At the beginning of Pokémon Red or Blue, you are faced with a life-altering decision. Once you made this choice, you could never go back. Which Pokémon will you choose as your starter? Hello everybody and welcome to Poke Primer. This week we're going to be talking about Charizard EX. If you want to play a Pokemon deck that is very consistent and also does tons of damage and is very simple for beginner players, Charizard EX might be the deck for you. Now let's go over Charizard EX. Charizard EX is a Terra Pokemon with 330 HP. We haven't gone over Terra Pokemon on the channel just yet, so let's go over that real quick. If a Pokemon has the keyword Terra on it, it means that as long as this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage to this Pokemon by attacks, both yours and your opponent's. Charizard EX has the ability Inferno Rain. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic fire energy and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you'd like, then shuffle your deck. Charizard also has the attack for 2 fire energy Burning Darkness. Burning Darkness does 180 damage, and it does 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent's taken. So if you want a Pokemon that gets energy for itself, and also makes sure that you deal more damage the longer the game goes on, then Charizard EX is the Pokemon for you. Now let's go over the basics of the deck. There's many different ways to play Charizard, but all of them kind of revolve around the same thing. You're going to be using Charizard EX as your main attacker, and then your main utility Pokemon is going to be Pidgeot EX. Pidgeot EX is a normal type Pokemon with 280 HP. It has the ability Quick Search that says once during your turn, you may search for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. You can't use more than one Quick Search ability each turn. Now I know what you're thinking. The more you look at this deck, you go, wait a second, 2 stage 2s? That's crazy, how are you going to be able to play the deck? You're actually going to be playing 4 Rare Candy. By using 4 Rare Candy, you can evolve your Pidgey into Pidgeot EX and search out other rare candies or cards you need to evolve Charmander into Charizard EX. Usually your priority is to bench 1 or 2 Charizards and bench a Pidgey, that way you can evolve into Pidgeot EX and use that ability to search right away. You'll grab a rare candy and then your Charizards are ready to go. Now onto the deck list. For Pokemon you're going to be running about 18. You're going to be running 4 Charmanders, 3 from Palladian Fates, and 1 from Obsidian Flames. Next, you're going to be running 1 Charmeleon. Then you're going to be running 3 Charizard EX, 2 Pidgey, 2 Pidgeot EX, 1 Mew with the Mysterious Tail ability, 1 Jirachi, 1 Manaphy, 1 Radiant Charizard, 1 Rotom V, and 1 Luminion V. For trainers, we're going to be running 35. You'll be running 4 Arven, 3 Boss's Orders, 3 Iono, 1 Professor's Research, 4 Battle VIP Pass, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Rare Candy, 2 Lost Vacuum, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Switch, 1 Level Ball, 1 Nest Ball, 1 Super Rod, 1 Forest Sealstone, 1 Justified Gloves, 1 Choice Belt, 1 Lost City, and 1 Collapse Stadium. And to round out the deck, you'll be playing 7 Energy. Now, because this deck is very straightforward, I'm gonna kinda just go over some big tips and tricks for the list. One of the biggest ways that you can mess up playing Charizard EX is messing up your setup. Try to make sure you have enough basics out there to evolve on turn 2. So that means you gotta put out your Charmanders, at least maybe 2 of them, and a Pidgey as well. Make sure that you have Rotom V because you're not going to be doing anything the first turn, so you want to be able to draw as many cards as possible. If for whatever reason you're not able to get out Rotom V early in the game, you can also take advantage of Mew's ability to help find those pesky rare candies. Honestly, as long as you're getting momentum and getting those Charizards out ASAP, you should be fine. One of the big things to be concerned about with this deck is energy management. You only run 7 energy, so be careful when you're using Charizard EX's ability, because there may not always be energy left in the deck for you to get out. Keep that in mind if you prize an extra fire energy or 2, while also keeping it in mind if you draw into them or not. And lastly, one of the biggest things to pay attention to is being able to search with Pidgeot EX for exactly what you need in the moment. If you're in a mirror match against Charizard v Charizard, consider using Justified Gloves to get the knockout. And the last thing to consider is Radiant Charizard. Radiant Charizard's seen a lot in the format as a way to close out games. The energy cost on Combustion Blast definitely goes down the longer the game goes, and it being a one prize attacker means you don't have to leave a Charizard EX in the active to possibly get knocked out. One of the things that I forgot to kind of mention about this deck is that if you get stuck and you can't set up enough Charizards, you can always start attaching energy to your Pidgeot EX to attack. Pidgeot also has free retreat, which is huge to make sure that you don't lose any energy. Another quick note is make sure your Forest Sealstone only goes on to a V Pokemon, so your Rotom V or your Lumineon V. That way you can actually use the V-Star ability. And that's about it for Charizard. Understand though, Charizard will have some cards rotating once rotation happens in about a month. But a whole bunch of other decks are losing key cards too, but it looks like Charizard may be one of the key decks that's in the new format. So even though it may not play like it is right now, keep an eye out on the channel where I'll publish a new list for the post-rotation Charizard when it happens. And thank you guys so much for watching towards the end of the video. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to give a like, feel free to subscribe, or maybe even drop a comment and tell me what you liked about the video and what you didn't. Keep an eye out for more videos, as I'm going to be dropping videos that are more rotation friendly.